Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Before I get into the video, I want to let you all know that I'm now trying out scripted videos after some feedback that I've received from some other people that I interact with. This means that instead of doing a video every 3 days or so, I'll be doing a video every 5 to 7 days. Because it's just going to take more time to write it and figure things out. So yeah, I hope you understand that. Also, I know you've probably all heard this from literally every other content creator, but 90% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. And as a small content creator, it's very, very difficult to get my views seen. Particularly with how just generally broken the algorithm is, where one video will get hundreds of views and the other won't get anything. So any support is greatly appreciated. Now with that all out of the way, let's get on with the video. If you have been around in the military community, you may have heard a person waffling on about how Russia single-handedly destroyed Germany with its superior numbers. Or another person telling you how Russia could easily take on all of NATO thanks to their massive military. And of course, even people like the Greens leader, Adam Bandt, who has no sign that he even understands the most basic points regarding military assets and functions, has been recorded saying that since Australia has less assets than China, we shouldn't even bother to attempt to protect ourselves or build up our defense force, because any attempts to protect ourselves from such a force with such superior numbers than us would ultimately be futile. And at the end of the day, here lies the problem. It is an issue that has plagued military hobbyists and the media, causing this widespread of ideology that ultimately, at the end of the day, whoever has the largest military would win. An example of which would be the site globalfirepower.org, which ranks militaries based off their numbers, not capacity. This is also rampant through groups that severely misplace their understanding of military assets and their functioning, looking at which plane is the fastest, the biggest, the most maneuverable, ignoring the hundreds of soft factors that impact the use of such assets. And this is where I like to propose the concept of crude and refined doctrine. Crude doctrine is the fundamentals of a military. How many tanks, planes, soldiers are in your military. In other words, the base capabilities of military assets and their general use in such scenarios. Refined doctrine is similar to crude, but is focused on a far wider range of concepts. One of the biggest problems regarding military hobbyists and armchair commentators is that they do not understand the second form of doctrine. They don't understand that columns of tanks are now vulnerable in the modern day, thanks to drones and long-range missiles. They don't understand that blitzkrieg is not a battle tactic, and these groups are hopelessly fascinated with numbers, not understanding that there are finer points that impact how a military functions and that war is constantly evolving and changing. They fail to understand how the concepts of supply routes, long-range strike packages, stealth aircraft, and the list really just goes on, impacts how war works. And this is where refined doctrine becomes relevant. Refined doctrine is the broad concept covering all aspects of military forces, allowing for a more effective and relevant military. And here is where the struggle lies. Crude doctrine is only a minor part of the equation that military planners must understand. Yet, people choose to use crude doctrine as a defining factor, failing to understand that it is not the only factor which impacts military doctrine or ideology. This can be seen most prominently in Australia's defence community, where people are unsure of the reasoning behind Australia's step away from armoured vehicles in favour of weapon systems like the HIMARS. This is an example of failing to understand the difference between the types of doctrine. Obviously, Australia needs a large military, thus numbers matter. This can be plainly seen by any idiot, as it allows us to maintain our Air Force, Army and Navy at its full potential. However, the numbers are not the only factor, with investment being put into HIMARS weapon systems in order to counter potential adversaries that are larger and much more powerful than us. These weapon systems, as I've already discussed in my video, Why Australia's Ditching Armoured Vehicles, are able to help Australia overcome an adversary by using a tactic called asymmetrical warfare. This allows Australia to engage a hostile force with weapon systems such as missiles and drones, allowing us to inflict maximum damage upon an invading force despite of strategic disadvantages. This works as Australia would be able to target hostile assets such as aircraft carriers, landing forces, supply ships, denying an enemy with superior numbers and technology to access the supplies and resources that are vital to such an operation. And this is the problem. Many people don't understand how this works, despite the fact that war in Ukraine, for example, has shown the impact of weapons such as long-range missiles, land-based anti-ship missile systems, and drone warfare. That war has set a new precedent for militaries around the world, forcing many nations, particularly Australia, to reconsider how wars should be fought, and has shown that new tactics need to be considered. And this is where I bring this video to a close. Military tactics are constantly evolving, and new weapons and ways of fighting wars are always being introduced. And whilst numbers are important to militaries, they are no longer the defining factor of who wins a war. The winners are decided by their capacity to evolve their tactics and doctrines to fight against emerging technologies and take advantage of advancements in technology and the current unfolding field. And ultimately, people need to learn this when discussing military concepts and factors. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel and it is greatly appreciated. I'm hoping to get the channel to over 50 subscribers by the end of this year, and I thank you all so much for the support, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.